Could Napoleon have won? Assume the role of Wellington or Napoleon and devise a strategy that will confirm or deny this famous victory. This game is for 2 players or 2 teams. The box game comes with 69 scaled miniatures, a large final playing mat, and 2 sets of rules, Wargame rules and a short game. Movement and firing ranges are determined using a unique caliper system. Made in England in 1975, this game contains Airfix plastic miniatures cast in a hard styrene rather than the soft plastic usually associated with Airfix HO/00 scale. Now, where I found this information was on this website right here. You can see it. And it's the Waterloo Wargame. Right there. So let's see. Get a picture of that right there. Blow it up a little bit bigger. And there we are. So that's what the game looks like. You see the figures down there. Those are the calipers. That's what the troops look like. Those are the calipers and the time dial. It's a hard plastic, and you can, it looks like there's the hussars, and then you have the cannons right there. There's the troops. You have regular French there with an Imperial Guard. Some cuirasses, cannons. This is British, Hussars, Royal Horse. You get line infantry. And that's the map, the play mat, which is pretty cool. And that's the Waterloo game. Now, the only thing, I have yet to find this online anywhere. I did find one, I believe, on eBay. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. There was one, I think, that was like for $1,000, and I don't see it now. It's gone. All right. So this is the rule book. Now let's go back to that site. On this site here, there is a PDF file, I believe, that you can, if you want, you can download. I found it prior to this. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. Let's see. This is the rules here. These are the rules on the site. So if you're looking for it, if you go to that website, the rules are here. Go to that website right there. I will I'll copy it and I'll paste it when I put this video in. So let's take a look at these rules here. So these rules here is you get the background battle right here. So Waterloo. On the 31st of March, 1814, the Allied armies of the Tsar and the King of Prussia entered Paris, and Napoleon was forced to abdicate. He was exiled to Elba, but within less than a year he had returned. Having escaped from Elba, he managed swiftly to regain France. The Allied powers, Britain, Russia, Austria, and Prussia, that had brought about Napoleon's downfall the previous year, declared him an outlaw and prepared themselves again for war. By May 1815, two large Allied armies had formed in the Netherlands. A Prussian army under Marshal Blucher, and under Wellington a composite army with contingents from Britain, the Netherlands, Brunswick, and Hanover. For convenience sake, the latter will be referred to as the Anglo-Dutch army. Napoleon watched his enemies gather. He resolved to strike first. On the 15th of June, he crossed the frontier from France into the Netherlands. He swept over the Sambre by Charleroi and marched on Brussels. The next day, to his joy, a large Prussian force was identified near Lannes. Napoleon decided to crush it himself, and while Marshal Ney, with the wing of the army, drove on to Brussels, although Marshal Blucher had succeeded in concentrating 3 of his 4 corps at Lannes, by the evening his army had suffered a heavy defeat and was retiring in confusion. To the west, Ney had encountered elements of Wellington's army at Quatre Bras. A bloody combat had developed, and he had failed to break through. The following day, Wellington broke away and withdrew to a strong position astride the road just north of Mont Saint-Jean. There he was some 8 miles to the west of Blucher's Prussians, who had retreated during the previous night along a parallel route and established themselves at Wavre. Wellington now faced the principal might of Napoleon's army, which had crossed westwards in pursuit, and he took up his new position, confident that Blucher would join him the next day. Wellington's hopes were eventually fulfilled, and the Prussians, after long initial delays, did arrive on the battlefield of Waterloo. For the purposes of our wargame, however, it is assumed that the Prussians arrived too late to affect the outcome of the main battle, fought between the armies of Wellington and Napoleon. So then they have the course of the battle. They got a wee map right there, and it tells you how the battle develops. It's got some pretty cool drawings. More of them, I guess the aftermath and conclusion. The cost of battle was frightful. The Allied armies lost 15,000 men, of whom 7,000 were British. The casualties of the French were difficult to assess. Their losses must have been between 20,000 and 30,000 men, but the army, as such, ceased to exist. Napoleon's situation was hopeless. He abdicated and fled to Rochefort, and surrendered appropriately enough to his most implacable foe, the Royal Navy. He sailed in the HMS Bellerophon to England and thence to St. Helena. Exiled in death in 1821, the Allies occupied Paris and then negotiated a settlement that brought Europe peace for 33 years and freedom for a continental conflagration for all but a century. So then you have the assembly instructions for your war game. Consumed 4 red frames, 4 blue frames, and 4 buff frames. That's the British Army, the French Army, and their bases. Using the number key diagrams on pages 10, 11, 14, and 15, remove each figure component part in the sequence and clean off the flash and cement together according to instructions. With the exception of Napoleon, part number 3, Wellington, part number 8, and the guns, each assembled figure must be cemented to the center of the base at a 90-degree angle to the common dimension, which is 3 centimeters. A small amount, and then it just goes on to describe what you need to do with that. So, you get your French army, you get your cannons, cuirasses, French foot, and each one is like Napoleon. Napoleon is there. Then you have Pierre, Jerome, Jerome 2, Young Guard 2, Old Guard 1, Old Guard 2, Jerome 3, Kellerman, Guillot, Foy, Allo, Donzet 2, Desnocles, then you have Bachelot, Simmer, Genin, Sevier, Marganet, Milhan, Doret 2, Tasty, Darman, Middle Guard, Jaguaret, and 50 guns. You got color plates, which you have your cuirassier, you have your foot, French, you have your Imperial Guard, You have the rear of the Cuirassier. You have the 95th Rifles. You have the British Guardsmen. You have the Hussars. And then you move on to the British Army, where you have Wellington, looks like Bajant, Bernhard, Vivian, Colin Hackett, Maitland, Bien, Nassau's, Arenschild, Donberg, Grant, the First Guards, Pack, Vinke, Best, Vandeleur, Kempt, Omtida, Ponsonby, Somerset, Hanoverians, Brunswickers, Hugh Hockett, Duplay, Chassé, Adam, Mitchell, and it looks like Kellisman, Cruz, Lambert, and the Belgian Dutch. And that's your soldiers there. Then you have the Wargame rules. You've got your pieces. You got your initial layout right there. You have your Wargame rules for movement. Movement continued. Your Waterloo dial. The object of each commander. Starting, moving through pieces. Attacking positions. The battle rules between equal forces, between unequal forces, concentrating forces, side and rear attacks, cavalry retreat capacities, artillery attacks, strong points, generals. Then you have the short game, gives you your object, your pieces, your rules for moving, your cavalry, your infantry, the general, hence uneven combat. Then you got that book right there, little, and then you have the rear of the book, and that's it. So when I post this video, I will put the website in there as well, so you will have that. Just before we clean up here, this is the 1/72nd scale artillery Lhasa, and it's actually not bad for the Airfix or any other plastic 1/72nd scale plastic soldiers or your Napoleonics, whether they be metal or plastic. But this is the oh, where is it? When I put it? Oh, right here. So that's it. This set right here. That set right there is that right there. And that is pretty cool. So it's, I think, better in size than the HO scale farmhouse. This is actually not too bad price-wise, so if you're doing the 1/72nd scale Napoleonics, I would go with this set right here. I'm working on the Royal Horse, and I'm also working on redoing some of my French. They're right here. They're pretty beat up. Yeah, they're bad. They're beat up. Ah, man, the age of neglect, huh? But these are the Airfix Cuirassiers. Those are the Scots Greys. I've got some Airfix line British painted up as Belgian. We got some Highlanders back there, and you can see I'm putting together. I decided to go with the 1=12, so one plastic soldier equals 12 real men. I decided to go with that. Instead of the 1=6, one toy soldier equals 6 real men. It's just too much. I just can't afford it, and it's just too many guys on the battlefield. So I think the 1:12 isn't too bad. And that farmhouse looks really cool. And it's not even done yet. It's just halfway through what I'm doing. So I hope that helps you out, Bruce. It's getting close to the 15-minute mark, so I'll get this online real quick. And this is it. I paid £70 for this thing. I think it's well worth it, though. I've already fixed it. I put the centerfold back in, and it's pretty cool. All right, guys, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Take care of yourself. I got myself a new cut, putting up a thing, and Mary came down and bopped me in the head and tried to knock some sense in me. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. It's a crazy world out there. Ciao. Until next time.